Hello there friends and followers, and welcome to this X-Plane 11 video. We are currently situated at East Midlands Airport in the United Kingdom, Echo Golf November X-Ray. Today I'm going to be showing you how to start the X-Crafts E140 from its cold and dark state and program the Tekton FMS. I will also configure the aircraft for takeoff, and we will be departing East Midlands. Please note that this is not going to be a full flight video. The scenery of East Midlands is that of Orbex, and of course I have all the True Earth regions for the United Kingdom installed. So let's get started. For completeness sake, we will be using Toolkit Pro to create a flight plan for our tutorial. We are going to be using Toolkit Pro version 0.4.0. and the latest AIRAC database from Navigraph 1912. The first thing we need to do is to create the fleet and ensure that the aircraft we intend for our flight plan is available in Toolkit Pro. To do this, we click on Fleet, and then you click on this blue button here to import all the liveries from X-Plane 11 into Toolkit Pro. As you can see now, I have all the aircraft loaded here. And if I scroll all the way down, you will find that we have this Logan Air E140 with registration number Golf Sierra Alpha Juliet Charlie in the list of aircraft. So this is what we're going to be using for our flight today. Next, we're going to go to flight planning. And now we're going to enter the departure and destination information. So we are departing East Midlands, which is Echo Golf November X-Ray. And the destination airport today for our flight is going to be Edinburgh Airport in Scotland. Echo Golf Papa Hotel. And the aircraft is the E145 Logan Air. And the flight number is 2262. And everything else can stay as it is, and we're going to say generate plan. This is going to ask us to enter our information at SimBrief. All right, our flight plan is now done, and let's get started now. So we have everything ready. We're going to say fly now, and we have all our information here. We're going to note the flight level today is 260. And this is our fuel information, 5,512 pounds of fuel. And this is our route. So we're going to be departing East Midlands to runway 27 through the 10-2 November SID. And we're going to be arriving into Edinburgh at the Tweed 3 Alpha Star runway 06. All right, let's get things started in our aircraft. The X-Crafts E140 family is quite easy to start from its cold and dark state, but the Tekton FMS programming takes a little bit of a learning curve, as it is not what we're used to in an Airbus or Boeing, for example. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to begin by starting the battery. It's got some nice sounds. All right, okay. We're going to clear that. And next we're going to start the APU. If I can get this to do what I want it to do. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And now we can see that the APU is starting. And the APU is now at 100%, so we can turn on the APU bleed. Now make sure that the packs are in the off position and the engine bleeds are in the off position. The only exception here is the APU, and it is powered now. So the APU is an exception to the rest of the buttons, where it is on when the light is actually on. For all the other buttons, when the light is on, it means that feature is off. So we're going to head back over here now that we have the electrical power established to the aircraft, and we're going to turn on our avionics. We're going to set the fuel pumps to the on position, and let's see here. Yeah, windshield, that's fine. We can turn that on as well. Everything else can remain here. We can turn on the nav lights. and the passenger fasten seatbelt and non-smoking signs, and we're going to arm the emergency light. Right, now we are good to start programming the Tekton FMS. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to change our call to log 2622. All right, so aircraft radio call has been changed, and now on the initial cruise altitude, a lot of the tutorials that you'll see will go to the MCDU index and go to the perfs 2 to enter the initial cruise and final cruise altitudes. Unfortunately, it does not work, and what I've come to notice is that you need to enter it here. So we're going to say initialize FMS. So the FMS is now initialized, and the first thing we are going to do is we're going to go to the MCDU index and go to perf or performance 1, and we will take a note of this is the center of gravity, by the way, and this looks okay. Number of passengers, well, we can add maybe another 20. 45 passengers. Payload weight, let's say 2,000 pounds. And the fuel, as we've noted earlier in our flight, is 5,512. So we're going to enter that, 5,512. All right, we're pretty much done here. We're going to go ahead and set the trim. As you can see, we need 5 degrees up. So the trim is now set. We're going to worry about perf 2 later. We're going to head back to the MCDU, to the init page, and we're going to enter the initial cruise altitude, which is for this flight. Let's see here. It's going to be 26,000 feet. So we're going to put 26,000 here, and it will update automatically the final cruise altitude. You can change them if you want, but for all intended purposes, we're going to keep them the same. Okay, so we are done now with the fuel and payload information. We've entered the initial cruise altitude. We're going to head back to the MCDU index, and we're going to select our departure. So the departure out of East Midlands runway, we're going to be departing runway, let's see here, we're going to head down here, runway 27 through the 10th to November. So runway 27 is selected. And then we're going to select the SID, which is the TNT to November. So we're going to scroll down and select that runway. We're going to check that there are no transitions there. So we are good now. Now, if you want to take a look at your SID, you can go to SID Edit here. And this is actually the SID. You can see here we have a couple of fixes and one VOR station, which is Tango November Tango. You need to be at 240 knots here and 8,300 feet. Good stuff. We are done with the departure. We are now going to head to the arrival, and we're going to be entering the destination airport, which is Echo Golf Papa Hotel, and we're going to enter that here. That is Edinburgh Airport in Scotland, and we're going to select the runway, and we're going to be arriving at runway 06 today. So select, and then we're going to select the star, which is the Tweed 3 Alpha, I believe. Yep, Tweed 3 Alpha. So we're going to select that one. So we click here and we go to Tweed 3 Alpha all, and we select that. And then approach transition is, let's check here. So we need to check the flight plan for our transition. There we go here. So we are going to select the TLA, and then finally we're going to select the approach, which is ILS runway 06. Select. Okay, So now if we head back to the MCDU and we click on star edit, again you can see the star, and you can see this is the our star fix, and then all the fixes, and finally an NDB into Edinburgh. And now what we can do is we can go to the route, and for the route this is where it gets a bit tricky. So we need to look at our flight plan and select the airways and make a note of the entry and exit points. So the first one here is November 57 with an exit at Papa Oscar Lima. So we're going to head here, select airways, and let's see here. We have November 57. Okay. All right, so we are going to be selecting this one here. Okay, and I'll tell you why. All right, so if we come back down here, you will see that November 57 starts at Tipple, and the exit point will be at Pull. So you need always, for the airways, the entry and the exit. So the entry here is Tipple and the exit is Pull. So it is exactly this one here. So we're going to select Tipple. November 57 is the airway, and this is the entry. As you can see, it says the entry point into the airway, and we're going to select that, and now you can see there is Pull there, or Papa Oscar Lima, which is the exit, and we're going to select that. Next, we're going to go to airways again, and the next one here, as you can see, is Uniform November 601, and the exit is Escodo, but we also need the entry point at for Airway Uniform November 601. So we're going to head back to our plan here and look at the entry point. So the entry point into Uniform November 601 is Nelsa, as you can see here. So we're going to head here and select this one. So we're going to scroll down and select Uniform November 601. The entry point is Pull, and the exit point is, the entry point is coming from Pull into Nelsa. So we're going to select that, and the exit is Escodo, which is down here. All right, and select it. All right, I think we are pretty much through here with our flight plan. Yep, so that's the last one, and this is basically the entry into our star for Edinburgh. So now if we look at the route edit, as you can see here, we have the fix here at Tipple at 8300, and then the fix at Denbigh at 8300, and then we have a VOR station, which is Papa Oscar Lima at 8300. And then we're going to begin the first fix in our flight route, which is Nelsa. Now, when you are entering a fix manually, you will be able to assign the altitude. Unfortunately, when you are entering airways, you will need to go and select it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Nelsa, which is here, this fix here, number 4, and we're going to say select. And now we can edit this route waypoint. And what we're going to do is we're going to enter 240 for the speed right here, and we're going to enter the altitude as 26,000 feet, and we're going to say update. Now all the fixes that follow Nelsa will be at 26,000, as you can see here, up to Escodo and at 240 knots. Right. We're looking good now, and the only thing remaining is we're going to go to Perf 2 now, and we're going to enter the cruise speed here, which is 0.74 Mach, and we're going to enter that here, and as you can see now, we have the destination, 231 nautical miles, and the flight time is 37 minutes. If you want further accurate information on your destination and time, we can also enter the cruise wind and direction, average wind direction and speed, which is in this case 110 and 15 right here. So this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this item here, average wind. So we're going to enter 110, 110, and cruise wind speed is 15. Perfect. One more thing before we execute our plan, and please do make sure that you do not execute your flight plan unless you are 100% ready and everything has been cross-checked, double-checked, and cross-checked. Because once you hit the EXE button, you really can't go back and make changes to your flight plan. So we're going to head back here. Everything is looking good. We're going to go to the Autopilot, and we're going to set the target altitude to 26,000. Target speed is 240 knots. And set that here. And we're going to set the vertical speed. Actually, the vertical speed is fine, 2200. By the way, you can do it here as well. If you want to set the vertical speed, you need to click on VS and change that. As you can see, it will change here as well. So whatever you change here in the Autopilot page will actually change here as well. If we also look here, so if you point your attention to this area here where the altitudes, selected altitude is 26,000, and it matches what we've entered here, but you can also change it from right here as well. As you can see now, we can change the flight altitude. So we're going to keep that at 26. Actually, let's do this, and we're just going to increase it by, what did I do? There we go, 26,000 feet. All right, so everything is now set up. All is good. So what we can do is we can head over back to the MCDU, go to the progress page, and once we hit execute, we're going to get a warning message here for some reason. It says cruise altitude mismatch. I honestly don't know why we get this message, but as you can see now, we have our flight plan plotted here. I will bring this up so you can see. Let's go to map. Let me remove everything here so you can see airport, waypoint, VOR, NDB. Remove everything here so you can have a better look at our flight plan. All right, so we can, I'm not sure why it doesn't want to move. Oh, come on. All right, here's what we'll do. We'll just zoom in here so you can see. All right. So the first thing, to toggle between map and plan, you can click here. As you can see now, we have the plan here, and if we click on flight plan, you have the entire flight plan here, and you can cycle through the waypoints in this banner. This will take you through the entire flight plan. As you can see here, this is our star into Edinburgh. So that is one thing that you need. It's kind of a little different. So click here again for the map. To increase and decrease the range of the map, these two buttons will achieve that. As you can see here, we are increasing the range, and here we are, actually here we're decreasing the range, and now we can increase the range. You have the virtual display here, which will provide you with the aircraft position or height, and it will also mark the top of climb and the top of descent on the virtual display. So we are pretty much good now. The only thing we need to do is we need to set the altimeter, and if we come over here and click on conditions, the altimeter is 2971. We can set that here, 2971. The altimeter is now set, and now we are pretty much ready to go. Okay, so we're going to bring this back here, and everything is set up. Glare shield information is entered. Flight plan is good. Now we need to continue with the engine startup. So we're going to do that. But first, I want to take a look at the runway to understand how we're going to push back the aircraft. So we are going to be departing runway 27. Okay. So I have an idea now on how we want to push back the aircraft. This is what we'll do. We'll take the aircraft all the way back here, and we'll turn it this way, and it will face this taxiway in that direction because that's our departing runway. Okay, so we are going to call the pushback truck now. Better pushback, start push.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring the aircraft first here, and then we're going to make a turn and turn it and bring it right here. Bit of a steep turn, but that's fine. And enter.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
So the pushback truck is on its way. We're going to click on FMS here because we're going to follow the flight plan that we entered in the Tekton FMS. You have all the altitude restrictions as well here, and we can monitor the progress of the flight by clicking here. Right, pushback truck is almost in position. Let's make sure our covers are removed. All right, we have just started the pushback now. Let's go ahead and start our engines. Now to start the engines, again, it's very, very simple. We're going to open the engine covers here, run, start, and then we're going to do a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to release. And as you can see now, the engines are starting. There we go. Very nice aircraft by X-Crafts. Really done well in terms of the 3D modeling, F-mod sounds. I've done quite a bit of flights in the X-Crafts E140. Really enjoyable. All right, I think we have a good start on the right engine. Let's go and start the left engine, and we're going to do the same thing. Start and hold, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And we can see now the engine, the left engine is starting. That is traffic global. We have an aircraft, not sure if it's landing or taking off. Looks like it just landed. Jet 2. Is it? Yeah, it is Jet 2. That's a 737, looks like a 700. Okay. Looks like the tow truck has done its thing. We can close the engine covers now. We can turn on the hydraulics, and we can turn on the engine bleeds. That will automatically turn off the APU bleed. We're going to turn on the packs, and we can now turn off the APU. To turn off the APU, simply click on the stop button here, and it will turn off the APU. We're just waiting now for the pushback truck to complete the disconnect. All right, the tow truck is getting disconnected now. So what we're going to do here is, let's see. We don't need the yaw damper just yet. Everything else is looking good. Okay, so we're going to head over here. We're going to turn on, we should have actually turned on the beacon earlier. So beacon is on. Taxi light is on, and we're going to head down here and set our flaps to flaps 9. Flaps 9 is set, and we're going to click on takeoff. So that will bring us to the takeoff page here, and as you can see, we have no messages here. So in Airbus terminology, no blues, and we are now good to go. So let's release the parking brake, and let's head over to the runway. Give it just a little bit of power. As you can see, starting the X-Crafts E140 is pretty simple. What I'd like to do is actually to take off and just show you a few things. So immediately after takeoff, we will click on flight change, and then we will engage the autopilot. So let's do that. All right, folks, here's our turn to runway 27, and we're going to turn on the landing lights, and we're going to kill the taxi light. We can turn on the strobes, and everything else is looking pretty good. Here's our turn. Can maybe zoom in a bit. No, that's fine.
Approaching 27. On runway 27.
All right, here's runway 27. We are ready to go, but we need some lights, I think. Ooh! Wow, that's traffic global. That was pretty scary. Okay. All right, so we're good to go, and we're just gonna actually hold on just a bit here and wait for this aircraft to clear the runway. Let's hit the parking brake, and we're gonna turn on the lights on this side as well. There we go. Okay, let's just wait a bit for the aircraft to clear the runway, and we'll be on our way. All right, I think we're good to go. Let's go ahead. We have our V1 at 132, V rotate 132, and V2 at 141 knots. Okay, parking brake is released. Give it a little bit of power. And we are gonna go to about 50% at Toga. A little bit of wind here at East Midlands. On 31 is the rotation speed. All right,
V1,
good enough. And
rotate. V2.
Positive rate of climb. Gears going up. Alright, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on flight change. And let's see, climb. And we can engage the autopilot. And go to nav. And as you can see now, the aircraft is following the flight plan. I'm going to ease off a little bit here on the throttle. Very nice. All is working according to design intent. And then the aircraft will accelerate to 240 knots, and then it will begin to climb to the altitude that we've set. And by the way, this aircraft does not have an auto throttle, so you will need to maintain everything. As you can see now, the aircraft has begun the climb. As soon as it hits that 240 mark, it should begin the climb. There you go. As you can see now, we can see the indicator moving up. And we're starting to climb now. We can adjust the climb rate if we go to VS. Now here, as you can see, we can move the. There we go. We're just going to adjust the throttle now to maintain 240 knots and let the aircraft climb. Using vertical speed, we are climbing at about 2,200 feet per minute, and we're just going to make small adjustments to the throttle to make sure that the aircraft maintains 240 knots throughout the climb. Alright, we are above the clouds now, and we continue to climb steadily to our cruise altitude of 26,000 feet. As you can see, starting the aircraft from cold and dark, and the programming of the Tekton FMS is not really that difficult. It does require a little bit of a learning curve, but this is one aircraft I really enjoy flying. It's a little different from your regular Boeing and Airbus in terms of setting up the flight plan, which makes it very unique. It does fly very well. I enjoy flying it. Perhaps I will do another tutorial in the near future to show you how to land this aircraft, because it does take quite a bit of work for landing this aircraft. Perhaps next time we will continue this flight all the way to Edinburgh and do an ILS approach. Well, folks, this is pretty much what I wanted to cover in this video. I hope that you found this video to be useful and insightful. If you have any questions, please do post them in the comments section below. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.